On today's Minute of the Apes, if you didn't get your Batman 89 reservation in, you're out of luck.
Man, just greedy bastard fuckers.
Take your stinking paws off, you damn dirty ape!
Exercise with an ape maker, human down. Then talks. Nothing is of the divine bound.
We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
The only good human is a dead human!
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, a daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And Richard drops the F-bomb for the very first of the week at the top.
I just want to note it. I did not break that seal.
Right now, right now Richard's in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that you will win eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's the count we have going for this movie.
Yeah. Richard's good off the jump, but I'm steady. I maintain my pace.
Sean is always the favorite when it comes to the F-bomb.
How many dead apes?
How many fucks?
2 fucks.
There we go.
3 fucks.
4 fucks. Oh, it never ends.
It never stops.
Wow.
All right.
I got no fucks to give.
It's like going, can I ask you a question? Well, you just did. Can I ask you 2 questions? You just did. Can I ask you 4 questions?
I do believe this is the rabbit hole episode where we just go and we never stop, right?
Can I mention the context for Batman 89 just
Please
real quick
do.
for
Please.
It's like what's going on.
Right.
So DC has a new character they're debuting in Batman 89 that is supposed to replace the Harlequin character, and the issue's not even out yet. I'm not even sure how organic it is because it seems to be kind of a manufactured situation.
Uh-huh.
But we do an online checklist system, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning today, and everybody's hitting the checklist for that Batman, but they're just being greedy fuckers and trying to get like 3 copies, which is our limit on the checklist. And I'm not going to have enough regular customers. I've already rolled all my 80 people who picked up Batman 88 into 89 because I know they're going to miss it, but I'm just getting really angry at people for just kind of like...
You're getting a lot of checklists that are made out to eBay.
I had one gentleman log in because we have a limit of 3 on the checklist, and he did 3 checklists in a row for 3 copies of each cover. So 18 issues that he wanted. It hit me like in 2 seconds. So I had to pull Batman off the list just because I'm rah.
So why don't you tell everybody real quick too while we do this? What's so special with Batman 89?
So there's a new character being debuted. Her name is Punchline, which is probably the Punchline. And she's supposed to replace Harlequin in the pages of Joker's sidekick, if you will.
And we know that actually won't happen.
Well, I mean,
she'll get killed or written out or...
Well, we saw the same thing when the New 52 launched, and they decided to do Joker's daughter, and everybody flipped out over that character, and now nobody cares because... It wasn't really...
Or the Creature Commandos and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was an organic kind of just thing where it just... these characters that stand out, that become popular, Punisher and things like that, sure, they might get that weird splash on the cover, but there's stuff that goes under the radar and that all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is a really cool character. This is really, really neat.
Right.
When, you're putting out a press release about a character, nobody cares. Right. I mean, well, they will, speculatively, for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then at some point in 6 months, when they do nothing with the character, it's just going to fade away.
I hate that. Regardless, that is the syndrome when they add a kid to a show. Mm-hmm. Like when what was
Oliver on Brady Bunch. What?
Well, I was
Dawn
thinking too
on Buffy the Vampire Slayer
because DiCaprio started off on Growing Pains or whatever.
Yeah.
They just threw him in the last season just to kind of go, oh, here's some new fresh blood. I hate that kind of approach to anything. Yeah. I wonder if in a Planet of the Apes movie, if they'll ever just all of a sudden throw a character in that doesn't mean anything and goes away. Oh, they've already done that. So we're good. Anyway, we're at minute 11. Sean, tell us what's going on with minute 11.
Intro.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I know. We're going to start minute 11 with Lisa entering a salon and ends with a waiter accepting their tip.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 11 of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Home, Lisa.
Yes?
Oh, I was wondering, would you be kind enough to display a couple of these posters?
Stop it! No, Zelda, no! Home, Zelda. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Riley. I'll have someone to comb you out in just a minute.
I want to be combed out now. I have to go to a luncheon.
Thursday, then.
Thursday.
Oh, I forgot the waiter, and I'm all out of raisins.
Oh, here, take mine.
Thank you.
Oh, Harry, why steer him into something like that? The big one is in synthetic alloy.
You're over-tipping.
You're selling to the government.
Yeah, but it'll come back.
All right, as of minute 11, we have a courtyard's worth of chimpanzees and gorillas and at least one orangutan. We have Milo and a plant's worth of humans.
Orangutan.
Did I say tang?
You did say tang. You went
realize.
into the space program
yeah.
and didn't drink your tang. So at least now the oddity of how the previous minutes were cut together, where we saw Lisa leave the bookstore and then was kind of creepily looking at her. Okay, at least now she's going to lead us into a new location. So at least now we're kind of got a little flow back to our scene, and she brings a book into this woman.
Looks like an encyclopedia or something.
A Young Queen Falls. Young Queen Fails is the name of the book, and I cannot find this as an actual book.
Well, and to Sean's point, it looks very encyclopedia-ish.
There's no words on the cover or the
Right.
spine of this particular book. Now, we saw it in the prior, when they were in the bookshop. We saw a little bit of the tag on the back of the bookshop. But when they bring it in, it's a completely black book. She opens it up, and I don't know if you notice, it's 3 columns.
Yes, exactly.
That's why
it feels like it looks like a dictionary or something, a reference book of some point where you're looking up something.
And she just kind of glances at it.
Yeah, she does the laziest flip through. Like, why did she even look for this book?
Now, this is Mrs. Riley.
Oh, that's what they designate her
Her
in the
name
script.
is Mrs. Riley.
She needs to be Mrs. Bitch.
Mrs. Riley, and she glances at the book and she kind of casually flips through a few pages just to verify that there are words there. I'm not really sure why. She just kind of looks at it.
So that's exactly
the spine would have been enough.
It's a weird thing to bring someone a book while they're getting their hair done.
Mm-hmm.
I get it then. If it is some kind of referential, she's looking up something, but the arbitrary nature of which she flips the pages because it isn't, here's A. Let me get to the S. There it is. And she looks and, finds what she wants. It's just nothing. She doesn't reference it. She just sort of, go home, Lisa.
Yeah, that very casual dismissive of Lisa, because Lisa is her, for right now, lack of a better word, her slave. But if she dismisses her, how does she get her to go do something else? If she wants a different book, she's already sent Lisa home. She can't get another book.
Right.
Okay, so I'm following this train. Dane wanted to have this woman at the hair salon. She is patiently getting her hair done. And so she sends her servant ape, Lisa, to go get a book for her. Because this salon, keep in mind, this salon is all white. This is still on the reoccurring theme that there's nothing exciting about the future. Everything is dull and drab. It's a pristine environment. The hairdryer is the only thing that has any color. It's kind of a bright blue. I guess it's because it's the only futuristic looking hairdryer they could find.
Yeah.
But everything else in the entire salon is completely and totally white. Now, we have seen trends of hair salons of kind of doing that kind of stark,
pristine,
all white, clean environment.
Tony and Guy still has
exactly.
that very salonish look. That's what it is.
So this isn't this isn't out of the ordinary to see a salon, a modern era, looking like this. Maybe Tony and Guy was inspired by Conquest to do their salons, but it is It is meant to be kind of that stark. Everything is very clean and pristine, and this is where we get our hair done. I mean,
and whereas the outside motifs have been very cement and angular, at least in here there is that sanitized look where there is no expression whatsoever via color.
I mean, outside of the fact that Mrs. Riley's got a very, very bright head of blonde,
right?
That is almost the thing that stands out most to me when we walk into this minute is her hair. Like, oh,
it is.
Wow, that's bright blonde in this very, very drab world.
And I have a feeling they probably did choose her very purposely like that, because here you have all the apes with the very dark skin tones, and as I watch these minutes again, trying to analyze it, I even noticed that Caesar's skin tone is darker, I think, than Roddy's ever had. And I have that feeling that they've purposely done that, number one, to set him apart from his father.
Right.
Number two, so that he can absolutely stand out in any coming shot that he may be with other apes. It's very easy to find it because of that. But with her blonde hair, she stands out even more
as the white type against this backdrop of slaves or slavery that's kind of servants that are kind of happening.
There is no doubt that those motifs of the white person against the darker skinned person, the ideas of what we do with the people that were formerly slaves here, those ideas are immediately being thrust into the story.
Well, that may have been why in this particular moment she seems to be a bit of a bitch as well. I mean, that might be intentional to have her come across that.
I find myself both loving and hating immediately this.
Riley.
Not only her, but this whole way with which most humans are speaking to apes, because I do think that thanks for that jingling sound.
Did you hear that? There's ice in there.
I'm giving you a harder time. Richard's over there taking a drink, and you hear the ice. But this is one of those weird things that, like, when you watch a movie like 12 Years a Slave, I actually have criticisms of that because, producer and co-star Brad Pitt comes off as the angel white person. But I do...
The great white savior. Yeah.
I do realize that there were probably some people that had slaves that weren't as harsh as others. You can't look at all humankind and go, everyone is evil. They're going to be levels of evil. So I wish there was a tonality of at least some humans that are like, come on, Sean. No. Okay, it's okay.
Kind.
Yes.
At least, yeah.
Kind to their slave, but still having a slave.
There are people who treat their dogs like junkyard dogs, and there are people who treat their dogs like they're
children.
Kids. And so, yeah, you should see different levels.
I just wish there were a different shift in tone to this so that when she's ugly, it comes off even more harsh. But right now, it's just everybody looks at,
Well, one of the things that I mentioned this, I think, when I first got here this morning talking to you guys, we have her named ape now as Lisa, right? I think maybe they mentioned in the previous minute too when they're at the library,
right?
But or the bookstore. What I find really odd about that choice is the ape dryer who gets into trouble is named Zelda with a Z.
Yeah,
and Lisa is a very mundane name for an ape, considering we've got
Cornelius
and
Zira
and
however,
Zaius.
You're right, but I can see how the choice of Lisa being a very feminine, very lovely and beautiful, and they are playing right away to the idea that I think she's supposed to be prettier because Natalie Trundy's visual motif. If Roddy McDowall is doing all the gesticulations with his face and his brow, hers is blinking. It is like, ooh, la, 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 la,
I mean,
la.
I have that note. It's that minute when she walks out and they pass by. She passes by Caesar. She pauses for a moment, and he kind of does this thing where he moves his eyebrows up, which allows which allows his scalp to move, like he's getting her attention, like he's hey, baby, what's up?
Wait, were you doing that to me just then? Thanks.
Hey, what's up? How you doing over there on that side of the table? His eyes are kind of moving up and down, but what we get from her response is, and maybe it's Natalie Trundy not really knowing how to use the face as well as Roddy does with Caesar, but she is really, like, I don't know if they put like eyelash extensions on or whatever, but
you can feel the current of wind.
You can see her eyes flicker, and I think that's really feminine and very well done on her part to kind of give us that.
I thought the same thing. I thought I can tease it, pick on it, but at the same time I could see the director going to her and go, "We've got to find something for you." I don't want, and even if Roddy steps in and says these are the things that we've learned with makeup, but I see something where you're beautiful and you're drawing his attention because of that. But it is so obvious that every time the camera's on her, la 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 la. In fact, that may be the visual, the auditory cue for her from now on when she comes on screen. La 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 la.
I mean, they're very intentional. Blink, 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 and just does she have contacts in? I think
it very may. Well, I don't know back then what contacts would be.
I can't remember if Natalie Trundy had brown eyes or not.
I don't know.
I want to go back and look that up because
I'm going to let you guys look since I'm recording everything over here.
So then we have this moment where Lisa walks out, and then we move to the reflection of Mrs. Riley in the mirror, and she's looking to her side as if she was just noticing that action, but that's not actually what she's looking at.
Okay.
She's actually looking at the ape dryer that's now beginning to pick at her hair.
Is she looking for nits?
She had blue eyes.
She does.
So does she have brown eyes in this movie now?
In that moment when she did the flash.
Then she is.
I'll go back and look at it, but she had brown eyes when she was drying her eyes.
Well, I was wondering, I guess maybe with albinos, but I was wondering if there are any blue-eyed, naturally occurring monkeys or not.
You would think there's some somewhere.